Hello and welcome to part one of using forms in Flubaroo to help you create a more efficient classroom. In this part of the tutorial, we're going to learn a little bit about just how to create a form, where to go to do that, and some of the real basics about form creation. So to begin, this is how you create a brand new form. Once you're in your Google Drive, and normally if you're within a folder where you want to keep all of your quizzes and your tests, that's the best place to create them. So I'm in the EdTech Challenge folder. So you simply go to Create and then Form. And what's going to happen is you're going to get a brand new form that pops up, and you're going to be able to enter the title in right away. So I'm going to enter in the title of Test Form. And then you can choose a different style for your form if you want. And this is what it'll look like to the end user, to your student. So I'm going to choose Books Classic and click OK. And now I've got that particular form background, and I've created a form called Test Form. So I can do a couple of things to change that later on. If I need to change the title of my form later on, I just go up here to where it says Test Form and click on that, and I can change the name of it. If I want to change the theme, I just go up here to the theme selector, and I can change it to a different theme at this time. If I thought, well, that one isn't what I'm really looking for, I can change it to something else. Maybe I want it to look like notebook paper instead. And so I can hit OK. And now when they see that, it'll look like notebook paper. So that's how you create a form, and that's how you pick a template and how you can change those things. The next thing I want to talk about really quick is you're gonna have some different settings if you're inside an Google Apps domain account. I'm not in a Google Apps domain account, so I only have one setting. It says Show Progress Bar at the bottom of the page. You will have inside of a apps form is you're going to have two other choices. You're going to have Require Domain Sign In, which means only people within inside your domain of your Google Apps account can actually view and take the form. And then if you check that, you also have another box that says you can collect their username, which means you're going to grab their email address automatically, which is really nice later on for Flubaroo for grading. The Show Progress Bar at the bottom of the page is great if you have multiple page tests, so it tells them where they are in taking that quiz or test. One other section in the beginning of the form is your title, which is what your students will see. So you could title the quiz something completely different and for yourself, and then title it something different for the students and what they'll see actually on the live form itself. And then you can enter a form description. And inside the form description, you could add what materials the students are allowed to use on the quiz, or any other relevant information about the quiz itself. So the last bits that a lot of people forget about is the confirmation page piece. Down here on the bottom, it says your response has been recorded. So this is what the students would see after they send the form in. What's kind of neat about this is that you can actually customize that. So you could say something like, thanks for taking the test, now go to my website and begin activity 2, and that would direct students what to do after the test is over. You can also publish and show links to the results of this form to all respondents, so if it was more like a poll. And then you can also allow students to edit their responses, which is a very cool way of doing a multiple day test or allowing students to finish things later on. Now there are a couple things that are important to note about that. If you don't fill out all the questions on the test, you can't go back and edit your responses. So if you have a multi-page test, for example, and the students don't get to that last page and they haven't filled in at least some sort of answer, they can't go back and edit that response. So if you know that this test can take you several days, the first thing you want to do is have your students go through and put something in every single either text box or check every single answer somewhere, so that they can go back later and edit their responses. And that's really important to note. Otherwise, students will lose everything once they submit, and they won't be able to go back and edit their responses again. And that's the end of part one of using forms in Flubaroo.